Hello everyone, photographer Andredesignz here with a new retouch video. Before we go into the retouching of this photograph right here, guys, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Always turn on the notification bell so each time I upload a new video you'll be notified, and like and share my videos. Alright, it will help someone, I'm sure. Alright, so we're gonna be editing this photograph. This photograph was done by a Jamaican photographer. His Instagram is iam-productions, and he is a great photographer. You can check out his work, you can follow his work as well. And yeah, so we're gonna retouch one of his photos today. Alright, so I don't want this to be a very long video because I want to see if I can actually edit this in one take. But this image was taken with the Nikon D810. He was using the 85mm for the session. He was shooting at f8 at 1/250 seconds. It was shooting at ISO 64. Alright, so this is camera raw right now. I'm not going to do any adjustment in camera raw, so I'm just going to open the image right now. Let me change this to. Alright, good. So the first thing I'm gonna do is frequency separation. That's the first thing I always do with my images. In the description you'll see the action pack that I have, which consists of 5 of these actions. To add the actions, you would click on normally it would be like this. So once you go to Windows and click Action, this panel should come up. Then you just click on this little thing right here. Then you go down to Load Actions, and wherever you save the action on your computer, you click on it, and then it will appear here. To turn the action into a button, you just click right here and click that, and it's a button. Alright, so this image, this image is a raw image, but I noticed that it says 8-bit right here, and I don't want to edit in 8-bit, so I'm going to Image, Mode, and then go to 16-bit, because 16-bit has more information in the image. Alright, so I'm going to go to the 16-bit frequency separation action, because I'm working on a 16-bit image, and the radius is going to be at 10. I always do it at 10. Your radius should you should not see any texture in the skin actually when you apply your radius. So 10 always works for me, so 10 it is. Alright, so I'm gonna press M on the keyboard for the mixer brush, because I went down here and I went to edit and I customized the brush to M for the mixer brush. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is to apply the mixing. So with your mixer brush, ensure that you clear the brush at all times. So once you clear the brush, you'll have this selected. Keep it at 2%, or you can play with a percentage. I'm not sure what percentage you'd like to use, but 2% works for all my photos. Alright, so I am going to start with the model's face. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit, and then with my mixer brush selected and my brush at that size, I'm just going to mix. So I have some people saying that when they're mixing they're not seeing anything happening. I am not sure why that is happening, but once you apply the mixer brush with the settings I'm using here, you should see something happening when you're mixing. So look at the before and after. So I'm basically blending the skin right now, and it's also flattening the skin. Alright, so I'm following the contour and highlighting, because when you're using the mixer brush you have to ensure that you stay in one location at a time. So if you're working on the dark area, you stay in the dark area. If you're working in the light area, you stay in the light area. So you're not going to go from the light area to the dark area. You want to avoid that at all times, because you're going to see the difference and it's not going to be good at all. Alright, so this is a dark area right now. This is a bright area. I mean, there are sometimes that you, just to blend out the image a little bit, you may have to go from dark to bright, but not all the time. But just to blend the image, that's it. Alright, so like right here, I'm basically blending the image, going from the dark to the bright. But yeah, it's not so dramatic. Alright, so doing over here as well. So all I'm using right here is the mixer brush, nothing else. And look at the skin, and you can still see the texture. See that? So when you're doing mixing, it's not a good thing to blur the skin, because you're gonna lose all the texture. And sometimes it's not good for your wetness, your wet percentage to be too high. You just want to keep it minimal at all the time. Keep it minimal. Alright, so I'm doing, just following the direction of the light and following the makeup. Alright, that looks good. When you're doing the mixing, or when you're editing overall, it's not good to it's not good for you to race, or you should take your time, basically. Is what I'm trying to say. You should not rush. I said race, but you know, it should be rush. You should not rush when you're making your edits, because you'll miss things that you should remove from the image, things that you should not remove. You'll have that problem. So if you're paying attention, I mean, I'm still working with the light and shadows. I'm using the X pen. You can go to Amazon and search for X pen. That's the tablet I'm using right now for the editing. And all I'm doing is just to flatten the image and try to have everything on one level. Also, it's always a good thing to use the mixer brush first, because when it flattens the image, if you have any pimples or acne, anything like that, you can remove them pretty easily, because it flattens the area. And you know, it's because, you know, pimples are raised, so once you mixed over it, it flattens it. So the mixer brush is awesome. Alright, so that's it, I believe. Let me just zoom out a little bit and then do the before and after. Before and after. Good. So that looks good. Alright, so the next step now is to apply the dodge and burn. So because the image is flattened, now we want to give it a dimension now. Yeah, we want to shape the face or shape the body. So you use dodge and burn to do that, because when you're applying the makeup, you're actually shaping the face. So it's basically the same principle. Alright, so I'm gonna get my brush. I'm gonna press B on the keyboard for the brush. For the flow, it's gonna be at 1%, and I'm gonna start with the burn, and the burn is the dark area. Burn is basically contouring when you're doing the makeup. Alright, so look at the before and after. Good. So I'm shaping the face right now. And just a tip, you know, when you're applying the dodge and burn, just try to look at your image and figure out which section, well, not figure out, you should be able to see which section the light is hitting and where you don't have any light. So when you're working with the dodge, when you're working with the burn, you work in the dark areas. When you're working with the dodge, you work in the light areas. And the light areas is basically when you're doing your highlighting in makeup. I think I want to learn how to do makeup, you know, like for my personal projects. I can do the makeup myself, and like for paid work, I'll just hire a makeup artist. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, I'm using the dodge to get rid of some of the darkness under the model's nose, because if you look, it's a little bit dark, so I'm just trying to lighten it up a little bit. The chin, I always put a little highlight right there. Gonna highlight right here as well. So let's look at it before and after. So before, see the face is flattened, and then after, now we have a dimension. Now I'm gonna go down to the model's shoulder, the chest area, and I'm gonna do the dodge and burn as well. So the light area, just going to lighten it a little bit, because that's where the light was hitting. So you follow the same direction. Anywhere the light was hitting, you paint right there. And the arm, alright, I put it at 1% for the flow because you don't want to overdo it, right? Let's look at the before and after. See that? Alright, for this section right here, I have to apply the dodge as well because it's a little bit dark. So just apply some dodge to it. Not gonna overdo it, but that looks better than what it was before. Alright, we may have to work on that a little bit more, but not right now. Alright, so I'm gonna go under the model's neck and do some more highlighting right here as well. Then I'm gonna get the dodge, not the dodge, the burn, and then I'm gonna just burn some of these areas as well. Yeah, I think that's good. I don't need to do any more burning. Alright, so after doing that, there's, oh, you know what? There's one thing I did not do because I was rushing. I did not clean the model's face after applying the mixer brush. So we're going to go back down to the high frequency layer under the high frequency layers, and I'm going to press S on the keyboard for the clone stamp, and I'm going to clean up the pimple, all the pimples and any acne on the well, acne and pimples is the same thing, right? Yeah, so any blemishes and acne. Alright, so let me start by sampling. So you're going to hold on an Alt on the keyboard and sample the area that you'd like to paint from, and then alright, let me undo this. We have to ensure that, you know, the face doesn't have any patches on it. So sometimes you have to zoom in very closely and make the adjustment, because you don't want any patches on the model's face. So it's best to go right in. Yeah, I had to go right back to where I started from. I think I want to undo this as well. Alright, good. So let's do it again. Oh, right here. I need to undo this as well. Alright, that's taking too long. So right here, good. Alright. So yeah, a quick undo, you could just go to the history and you could just undo it from there. Alright, so go back to the high frequency layer. There are times you can just go to the patch tool and make the adjustments as well. The patch tool do a great job as well, so you can do that. So I'm on the patch tool right now, and to get to the patch tool, it's normally under the healing brush section, or you can just press J on the keyboard, and then you can hold on shift and press J until you see the patch tool appears. I'm not going to remove this because that's a part of her skin. That's a mole, or a wart actually. So you don't want to remove that because it's a part of her, something that she actually born with. Alright, so so there are times you do not have to use the clone stamp tool, and the what's this, the patch tool works really awesome. Once you zoom into the photo, it works really great, versus when you're all zoomed out, you might have some patches on the model's face. I can remove that one, and maybe I can remove this one as well, but I'm not going to remove all of them. There are times though that you don't want to zoom in the image like this because you will miss certain things. But the best thing to do is to just stay in on one side at each time, so you will not miss anything. And take your time, don't rush. Alright, so I'm just removing the hair from the model's face. And I move much faster using the pen when editing versus using the mouse. It takes a longer time and my fingers hurts. But I mean, we all right, so I guess using the pen is it's better for most of us when we're editing. Even when I'm editing videos, I use this pen as well. Alright, good. So that's it. I think maybe I need to remove this as well. Alright, that looks good. Maybe we could move this as well. But I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it, guys. I mean, you get the idea. You take your time, go through, and you remove certain things that, you know, doesn't make any sense on the model's face, right? As I said, I don't want this video to be too long. I'm already 16 minutes in. Maybe I can cut it down a little bit, but I don't really want to do a part 2 of this video. I want to just do one video. So I might just speed up this section here of me, you know, cleaning up the model's face.
When the night is over, my life is over.
Alright, so I just switched to the clone stamp tool because the patching was not doing a great job right here. So I had to go for my clone stamp. And then I think I'm finished now. Right here as well, and then come over here. So basically I'm just sampling an area by hold on Alt and then click the area I want to sample from and then paint on the area I want to change. So that's it. Let me come down to the model's chest. I don't think I have, oh, I just need to remove these lines from the neck. Alright, that looks good. Just moving a little bit of the lines there. Neck, chest. I think I miss this part right here. Just getting my brush a little bit smaller. I think I want to get my patch tool for this. Alright, that looks good. Alright, good. Alright, so basically you can see that you don't really have to follow the process I follow. You can do your dodge and burn and everything, and then you could just do the removal of the pimples or anything from the skin basically. Alright, so the next step now is to match the face with the body, because if you notice, when the makeup was being applied, it was not applied to match the model's body. Not sure what happened actually in the makeup process, but let's go right ahead and try to match the face with the body. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is to create a new layer by holding on Control Shift Alt E. I'm gonna Control J and make a copy, and then I'm going to pull up camera raw. So Control Shift A for camera raw. And I'm going to make some adjustments here to see if I can match the face with the body. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the contrast option here. I'll bring up the contrast a little bit. Well, 30 is not a little bit, but I'm going to put it at 30. And then, I'm going to play with the vibrance a little bit, maybe about 5. And that's it. So I'm going to go back into Photoshop. I'm in Photoshop. I'm going to go back to the main screen here, and then I'm going to invert what I've done. So I'm going to hold on wait, how do I invert again? Oh no, I'm not going to invert actually. I'm going to do a mask. So I'm going to come down to the masking tool right here, and I'm going to hold on Alt and click the mask option. And then I'm going to get my brush. I'm going to press B on the keyboard for my brush. I'm at 1%, but I'm going to put it at 64%. Yeah. And I'm painting on the black, so your brush should be white. Alright, and then I'm going to just zoom out a little bit, like right there. And then I'm just going to paint the model's face. So if you notice, like right here, it kind of matches the arm. Right, so. And there's a lot of different other techniques you can actually use to match the model's face with the body, you know. But yeah, this is one of the many ways. All right, so looking at what we have right here, it looks good. So before and after, before and after, good. So we're going to work on this ear right here. We're going to try to have this here matching over this side, or this side match this side. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the background layer and go to the frequency separation action again. All right, then I'm just going to click on the action right here, then Control Shift left bracket, no, right bracket, and it brings it to the top. Because if I actually applied it without selecting the background, maybe because of how I created the action, it will just do something crazy. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the low frequency separation layer, and then I'm going to press S on the keyboard for the clone stamp, and then I'm going to zoom in the image a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but right. I'm going to sample over this side, the light area, and then I'm going to, let me see, I'm going to lower the opacity to about 14. And then I'm just going to sample the light area and then just paint. Alright, I'm going to sample right here, sample right here. That looks better. So look at the before and after. Alright. So you don't want to really go overboard with it, because you don't want to really blur out that section right there. So, you know, just like that. So that looks good. There's nothing else I need to do with that section. Alright, so the face is matching the body. That's good. Everything looks good. Alright, so the next step is to clean the eyes of the model. Alright, so I'm going to just close that. And then I'm going to go to the eye, to the clean teeth and eyes. Then I'm going to go to the brush. I'm going to put this at about 18%. And my foreground layer is white because I'm painting on black. And then I'm just going to paint the eye. Good. Right. And just to give the eye a little more detail, I'm just going to paint in the I don't remember what those are called. The fill. Alright, so let's look at before and after. Before, after. So that looks good. Just gonna highlight some of these right here as well. Looks good. I'm gonna go back down to the frequency separation layer and just click on the high frequency layer. I'm just gonna fix right here. So I'm gonna press S for the clone stamp. Get it smaller by using the left bracket. Sample right here and just paint. actually need to put this back at 100%. Sample, paint. Yeah, that looks okay. Nah, I think I need to fix it up a little bit more. Let me go back to the right there. Oh, you know what? Let me just try the low layer and see what it looks like. But I have to change it back to like maybe about 22. Sample. Oh, that works perfect. Good. So sometimes you can just play when you're doing the cloning. You can play with the low layer or the high layer. Sometimes the low layer works perfect, and sometimes it doesn't. So you have to work on the high layer. All right. Going back on the high layer again, I'm making some small adjustments right here. Let me go to the low. I'm basically trying to blend it out a little bit. It looks a bit dark, and I don't think I like it when it's dark. All right, that looks good. That looks good. All right, so the next step. What's the next step? What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to add some contrast to the models here. So I'm just going to come down here to the, remember, click on the top here because you want the adjustment to apply at the top. Then come down to the adjustment layer and then go to brightness and contrast. I'm going to put my contrast at 20. You know what? I'm not going to apply contrast to the models here. I'm going to apply clarity. So Control Shift E to create, actually no, not Control Shift E. Let me undo that by Control Z. Control Shift Alt E to create a new layer. And then Control J to duplicate the layer. Then Control Shift A for camera raw. Right? And then I'm going to add some clarity to the models here. So clarity, and then I can add some contrast, a little bit of contrast to it. That looks good. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to apply the mask. So it's Alt and then click the quick mask right here. Then zoom up a little bit and get my brush. Be on the keyboard for the brush. I'm going to put this at about 77%, and then I'm just gonna paint. Doesn't have to be perfect, but ensure that everything is painted. All right, that looks good. Let's look at it before and after. Before, after. I'm gonna put some highlight in the models here now. So we're gonna go down to the adjustment layer again, and then we're gonna go to curves, and then I'm just gonna put it in the middle right here. Then I'm going to invert it by clicking the white and then Control I to invert. Then I'm still on my brush, so I'm going to put my brush down to about 9, and then I'm just going to paint the highlighted areas. Before and after. Highlighted areas. Highlighted areas. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so I want to blend out, well, it looks good. I don't think I need to blend out anything else. Yeah, this looks good. I'm gonna add some contrast to it though. I'm just gonna add contrast at 10. No, 5. That looks good. And then I'm going to apply some color to it as usual. So I'm going to go to the color balance. So I'm going to click on the adjustment layer and go to the color balance. I'm going to go to shadows. I always go to shadows. I'm going to apply 5. 5 looks good. Yeah, 5 looks good. And then I think I want to blend out the image a little bit more. So I'm going to go back down. Well, I cannot go back down to the to this panel because I did not do like a smart object, and I don't like doing smart objects. So I'm just going to go back down to the bottom here, and then I'm going to apply the action again. I don't like doing smart objects. Sometimes the smart object application takes a long time to load, and I don't like that. So the one at the bottom, I'm just going to press Control Shift and then the right bracket key to bring it up to the top. And then I'm just gonna blend out the image a little bit more, get my mixer brush with the same settings, and then I'm just gonna blend before and after. Just want to blend it out a little bit more. Alright, so that looks good. Let's look at it before and after. Before, after. Just blend it out a little bit, you know. Alright, so I guess that's it for the image. I'm not sure how long this video is, but that's it for the image so far. If this was my image though, if I'll be uploading this image to like Instagram or anywhere on the internet, I just blend out the let's look at it before and after for this. What I would do, let me blend out this as well right here. What I would do, I would actually crop the image. So I would just say Control Shift E and just merge everything into one. And then I would just press C on the keyboard for the crop tool. And then I would just go to the 4:5 ratio. And then I would crop it. So all the adjustment that I did down there, if it wasn't done properly, I would just crop the image. And by right, you mean you should always crop your images. And ensure that you crop it so it makes sense, because you want to, maybe I would crop it like this type of thing. Maybe I would do it like that. Yeah, so that's the finished product. I mean, I would spend a lot of time on this image to let it look really perfect. I mean, as you know, I'm doing a video, so I have to move a bit fast. Thank you guys for watching. More videos coming soon. Remember to subscribe and share. Turn on notification bell. Follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.